Kia ora and welcome to our final careers workshop for 2021, and it's a doozy. Today I'll talk about the mystical wonderland that is StudyLink. StudyLink is a government organisation that deals with student loans and allowances. It can cost you between $15,000 to $25,000 a year to study depending on where you live, and that's not even including the course fees. Student loans and allowances can help with some of these costs. The student loan is when you borrow money from the government to cover your costs, but this must be paid back. The student allowances is a weekly payment that you receive from the government, and it's paid directly to you, and the amount depends on your situation, and you do not have to pay this back. Student loans have three parts. There's a course fees, which is the fees for your actual tuition, the course-related costs, which you can get up to $1,000 a year for textbooks and things, and living costs, which help pay your weekly expenses. Full-time students can borrow up to $239.76 a week. However, this amount reduces if you receive a student allowance. You can get a student loan if you're a New Zealand citizen or a resident of at least 3 years, and your course needs to be approved. You must also pass at least half of your course. Once you've got a student loan, it gets transferred to Inland Revenue, and basically if you start earning over $20,280 per year, you start paying it back, and it's automatically taken from your paycheck. Loans are interest-free as long as you're living and working in New Zealand, but the game changes if you travel, and there's complicated formulas and scenarios to work it out. Roughly speaking, if you go out of the country for more than 6 months, you get charged interest. How much you get depends. With student allowance, if you're living at home, you can get a maximum of $203.11. If you're not at home, it's $240.65. There is a calculator you can use to work out your entitlement. You do have to be 18 years old or over, but 16 to 17-year-olds can get it in special circumstances. You have to be doing an undergraduate degree, which basically means a bachelor's degree, and you must be a New Zealand citizen. It's really important that you understand that the total amount that you can get for living expenses is maxed out at $239.76 per week. That will not cover your costs for the halls for each week, and you need to have made plans for other income to make up the difference. What happens is if your parents' combined income is over $55,000 in the year, the amount that you get starts to reduce. So if you live with them, the threshold is $98,000. If you don't live with them, it's $107,000. These change if your parents are not living together, or if you've got siblings or your parents are supporting other full-time students. It's really important that you understand that the student allowance is based on 40 weeks of study. So in the summer holidays, you're not paid. So there are other things you can do, such as apply for the job seeker support payments and student job search, where you can pick up work during your break. You may also be eligible for the Accommodation Benefit, which is a weekly payment to help with accommodation costs. It varies by city and region, but the max you can get for that is $60. If you're living in a hostel or the halls, you can get up to $60, but they do not pay it in a lump sum. Student allowances reduce your student loan for the living cost payments. So if you apply for the full amount of the living costs at $242.53 and you get a student allowance of $80 a week, then you'll only get $162 from the student loan for living costs. If you don't get any allowance, you can get the maximum, but it starts switching. So you can also earn yourself in a job $227.18 a week before tax, and still get your student allowance. Then there's fees free. You can use the fees free website and click on here and check out your eligibility. How to apply for student loans and allowances. The first thing I would do is apply for Real Me. It's really handy because you can use Real Me for all sorts of things, like if you're applying for a flat or whatever. If you can get Real Me this year, I'd highly recommend it. So you create a Real Me login, and once you've got this, you need to get your Real Me verified. So to do that, you get the login, have a cell phone number, have your passport or citizenship certificate, and then another document with your photo on it, another piece of evidence with your photo on it. Then you click the Get Verified and they send you a code to your email. Make sure you read the terms and conditions. And then you choose which option you want, submit your application. You'll receive an email, and then you've got to take your photo to AA Paraparaumu, which is our closest verified, authenticated place to take it. And finally, then Internal Affairs will check that you're all legit and you've got real me. It's a good idea to check that your course is recognised. Most of them are, but you don't want to be caught out. And then finally, the last step is for you to apply online at StudyLink. You need to know your approximate cost, dates, and what university you're going to. You can take the eligibility test and you need to have your bank account details, etc. You can save as you go so you can keep coming back to it. And the due date is the 16th of December, but we do recommend that you apply early because applications are never 100% right first time. So some tips I've got for you. To keep your student loans or your costs down altogether, try and finish your course as soon as possible. You could consider doing summer school so you could get a paper or two ahead, because if you get a paper or two ahead, what that means is you finish early and this keeps your living costs down and you get out and you're earning quicker. You should ask yourself, are you sure about starting university now? If you do 1 year of university and then you quit, you come out with no qualifications and you still have the associated debt. It's a really good idea to do your research and do your best to make sure you're employable. Another thing I often hear from students is that a student loan is a bad idea and they try and avoid getting student loans. But student loans don't go on your credit history. They don't affect your credit rating. Most New Zealanders repay their student loans within 10 years. You need to remember you're investing in your education, so make smart decisions. It's a good thing because you're maximising your earning potential. If you've got any questions, the general ones the Careers Department can help with, but StudyLink no longer comes into schools. I suggest you ring StudyLink on their contact number. Their details are on the website. Harass them all you like. Tell them that it would be great if someone could come in that you could talk to, and let them know that you need help. Any general questions, please come up and ask us. Ka kite anō, have a good day.